fast car. That's where the Camry surprises you, right? You think it's a boring car, and you think it's a boring sedan, but nope, it's not a boring sedan. Hello everyone, this is the Camry that you've been seeing on the channel, the page for a while. So this is the car that I got. It's been about 3.5 months since I got the Camry. This is the 2023 hybrid Camry. In India, you only get one variant. While I was looking to buy the Camry, right, we watch a lot of reviews and stuff on the internet about the car, but all of those reviews that I watched and the material that I had while I was trying to make the purchase only talked about basic stuff like what kind of engine the car runs on, and the basic stuff. So there was no video on the internet that actually talked about whether a long-term review or a proper user review for this car on the internet. So I thought I'd just talk you guys through the car, and it's been about 3.5 months and about 7,000-8,000 kilometers. So I thought I'd just make a video which talks about how the car has been faring in the last 3 months. This is the Camry's key. It is quite different from the one that you get on the Fortuner. So the Indian model doesn't get the alarm function which the international car has. And most of the time I use the keyless entry to get into the car. It works quite well. I never have to pull out the key. So first things first, let me just get in and turn the car around and put it outside so that there's better light. So first thing is, like, when you turn on the car, right, it is super quiet. You just get this beautiful Camry animation there. I quite like that, and that's it. The car is on, so you don't have to wait for the engine to start, none of that. Oh yeah, this is one thing that's very annoying about the Camry. When you put it in reverse, it keeps making this sound, despite the sensor being activated or not. It keeps making this sound. It's so bad. So, but otherwise the cabin is very, very, very quiet. It is so nice, well insulated. You just don't hear the outside world. So yeah, if it wasn't for that beeping sound, it would be nice. So you put the car in reverse. So that is what. So the Camry is very conservative about turning on the petrol engine. So if you even if you turn the air conditioner on, it's really nice. Chills the cabin in a jiffy, and then you've got these ventilated seats. So about these features, right, the air conditioning is pretty quiet. It's subtle, but the ventilated seats, when you put it in the third setting right here, it's quite noisy. But other than that, the even if you turn the air conditioner on, or even if you start driving the car forward, right, it doesn't turn the engine on. And there's a mode where you can press this button and the car should go into EV mode, but currently the battery is low, so it's refusing to do that. But to be honest, most of the time it gives me, when I try to put the car in EV mode, it gives me this warning, says that EV mode is unavailable because the battery is down. So that's more like a gimmick. It doesn't, you just cannot use the car in EV mode, even though most of the people or the reviews out there say that you can drive the car around in EV mode. It's just not practically possible, because 90% of the time it says the EV mode is unavailable. So first things first, let's get the big elephant in the room addressed. So that is the fuel economy that the Camry returns. Currently this is showing 13.6. So to be honest, right, with my style of driving, I put the car in eco mode when I drive in the city, and I do not drive in a very sedate manner. I go, you tend to go hard on the throttle whenever I can. I use my chance to overtake the car in front of me, and I just don't go easy on the throttle at all. So if you drive like me without giving a damn about the fuel economy, then the car in eco mode in the city will return something around 13.6 to 15. So that's it. You will not get the 23 or the 20 or whatever the company and those other videos on the internet claim. You just don't get that kind of fuel economy on the Camry. So for example, if I just shift from eco to normal and then drive around, I pretty much get the same fuel economy in the city. So that's how it is. So now let's talk about the highway mileage, or fuel economy. So on the highway, right, if you put the car in eco mode and drive somewhere in between the range of say 100 or 80 to 100, in between 80 to 100, the car will give you something about 19 to 20 if you are easy on the throttle. You can even achieve something about 22. But if you go hard on the throttle and put the car in normal mode, how I usually drive the car, you would end up with figures like 16 and 17 at max. But if you put the car in sport mode, which completely changes the character of the car, the EV mode hardly works. The car is constantly on petrol plus battery mode, and it's pretty powerful. All the 220 horses that you get with the car is working, and then you end up with something around 13 or 14 at max. So that's what the fuel economy in the Camry, right? So now the petrol engine is on, and you can hear the slight hum from the engine when the petrol engine is on. So I've had the air conditioner on for a while, and even the ventilated seats on. So that's how the petrol engine turned itself on. You just wouldn't notice when the car shifts from EV to petrol unless you're stationary. Otherwise, pretty much the transition is very seamless. You don't know when the car is going into EV and when it's coming out of it. So there's a small indication over here. So you can't see that now. There right next to this eco light, there is an EV light that comes up. So that is how you know the car is in EV mode, or if it's in the petrol power mode. So if that EV light doesn't come up, it means that the car is powered by the petrol engine. So yeah, so coming to the infotainment system, right, this is the worst or the crappiest infotainment system that they can put in a car that costs 59 lakhs in Kerala. So that is, as you see, that EV light has come on now, so that the petrol engine is turned off, and currently the car is running on the battery. Yeah, so coming back to the system, right, this is so bad. So this is almost like the one that you get on the Innova Krista. It's a slightly better version of what you get on the Krista. And look at the camera quality. So this is absurd, right? This is so bad. It's got this wide setting and the normal setting, but that's about it. This is probably the worst camera that they could put on a car that costs this much. When I had the i20, that was so good. Even the 5-year-old PRS, right, that has a better camera than the one on the Camry. So this is so bad that Toyota doesn't even care to put a nice camera on a car, which is supposedly one of their premium offerings in the country. So yeah, so that's about this, and this all of this functionings that you get on the infotainment system, it's all basic. There's nothing much to talk about, and it just gives you this animation which says when it's using power from the battery while you're running, of course. So I put the car in drive and I start driving, so it just shows you this animation. Now it says the power is being taken in from the battery. So as soon as you go hard on the throttle, it suddenly starts showing you that the petrol engine is turned on. If you want to see, I can show you that. Okay, it's in slow speed and it's not turning on yet. Let me just find that so now that the petrol engine is on, sorry, it's the seat belt. So it just keeps showing you this animation. So if you can live with the bad infotainment system and the camera, I have absolutely zero complaints about the Camry. They have done about 7,700 kilometers in 3 months. Out of that, about 1 month I was away. I was out of town. But I've used the car for about 2 months. So I've done the 7,700 kilometers in 2 months, and I must say the Camry is a brilliant car. It's an amazing car. This is my daily driver. I use the car every day to go to work, come back. I take it on all my long trips. So I do a lot of my highway miles. So that's how the kilometer climbs. So let's talk about how the Camry is to drive, right? So the best part about this car is mostly the best fuel economy. You get the best fuel economy when you drive in bumper to bumper traffic in the city. That's because the car is hybrid, and when you drive in slow speeds inside the city, you're mostly using the battery pack, and the petrol engine, rarely comes up. So you are getting, the best fuel economy you can. Oh wait, that's a Porsche Panamera there. Somebody's come up in a Panamera. Nice. Yeah, sorry about that. You get distracted when you see cars like that, right? You just gotta check it out. And by the way, talking about other cars, there's our VRS. There's the Jimny. Yeah. Yeah, so coming back, so how is the Camry? So most of the time you are driving in EV mode in the city. If you put the car in eco mode and you go easy on the throttle, the car returns amazing fuel economy. You get about 14 to 15, considering how big the car is. That is pretty good. I get about 5 liters per 5 kilometers per liter on the VRS. I used to get about 8.5 on the i20N line. So considering that, if I get about 14 in the city on a big car like this, then bazinga, that's good, right? That's really good. So let's get out on the roads now. So I'm always, what's on with all the smoke? Oh man, I ran into the Panamera again. Move, sir. Trying to take a video here. I'm always asked by my friends like how it is like to live with a big daily driver Camry in the city every day. I generally like big cars, long sedans, but I find it really easy to drive the Camry around in the city. The steering is it's got a little weight to it, but you can easily maneuver the car around in the city without a problem at all. It's light when it has to be, you just don't feel like you are driving around a long sedan. It's just it's very easy to drive, and unlike any other Toyotas that I've driven, right, what makes the Camry special is how heavy the car feels. It feels so planted to the ground. So I had a Crista before earlier, and I've driven Fortuners as well, but those are Toyotas, you just don't feel like you're driving a heavy, sturdy planted car. It feels flimsy here and there, the plastics that you touch, and even the chassis feels really heavy in this car. So you just get that premium feel all the time when you're driving the car. So that's something about the Camry. And after a while you figure out how to drive the car to extract the most fuel economy out of it. So how much throttle you have to give to actually activate the petrol engine. For example, the car is in EV mode, right? Yeah, it shows EV right here. So if I go really easy on the throttle now, like I'm doing now, you can see that I'm not triggering the petrol engine. So this is what I was talking about, being conservative earlier. So I'm going easy on the throttle, so the petrol engine almost never turns on. So if you drive like this, you are going to get really good fuel economy numbers, like 19 or 20. But I don't drive like this. So when I get an empty stretch like this, I just like to do this. So as soon as you do this, you are basically driving a petrol car, right? So obviously the 2.5 liter petrol engine, the fuel economy will come down. But see, as soon as I took my feet off the throttle, it goes back into EV again. So it keeps doing the switch. You never know when it switches back and forth. So yeah, that's how the Camry drives in the city. Okay, now let's take the car out of eco mode and put it in normal mode. So when you put it in eco mode, you get this green light. So when you put it in the normal, it goes to blue, and in sport it goes to red. So that's pretty much it. So that's how you know which mode the car is in. Okay, so now I put it in normal mode, and now I'll show how the Camry accelerates. So that's good. You see that? This is where the Camry keeps surprising me. The car is not boring. It just flies, and it climbs, and when you go hard on the throttle, right, it makes that grunt. It's really nice. So right now it's in normal mode, but in EV, the moment you step on the throttle, right, the car actually pushes you back into the seat. Yeah, it's nice. You never expect a Camry to do this. Oh, that's nice. You know how the difference that I feel when I drive this car in the VRS, even if the car does this, right, you are way too comfy in your seat. You are comfortable because the suspension is really nice. You don't wobble around. The seats are very plush, very well padded. You've got ventilated seats. You're really comfy in the cabin, right? Even when the car is flying, you're sitting in this very posh, nice, cushiony seats. You've got ventilation. You are, you feel good. That you don't wobble around. You're comfy. So that's how it differs from the VRS. In the VRS, it's all sporty, and the car throws you around in the cabin. It's really, it's a child. But this is a more sedate, more sensible man. So that's how the cars differ. So now I'll show you something. Now the car is in normal mode. Let me shift that to sport mode. You can see that the thing is red up there, and now things change. So see, it holds on to the gear even more. The upshifts are a little more conservative. The car likes to build power, and I think the car works with the EV. It is a fast car. You put it in sports mode, and it is a fast car, but you just don't know. The cabin is so plush, and it's so, you're so comfy inside the cabin that you just don't know the car. You don't realize how fast the car is going. So yeah, that's how it is. That's where the Camry surprises you, right? You think it's a boring car, you think it's a boring sedan, but nope, it's not a boring sedan. So when the car is in sport mode, right, you feel that the car just wants you to go fast. You just feel that. Overtaking is a breeze in this mode, the best part is you don't realize how fast you're going if you're on the highway, right? You just don't realize. It makes that slight grunt. Yeah, that's how loud the car is in sport mode. So once you go, you can see that the car doesn't have a conventional tachometer. You see this thing over there? So when that meter shows when it goes into power mode, right? If it's in that power range, it means that the petrol engine is on and it's consuming a lot of power. So where you want to drive, if you are focused on fuel economy, is you just want to keep it in eco. So throttle is very responsive in sport mode. So when you accelerate in sport mode, right, it keeps going into power, right, into the power territory. But if you put the car in eco, say for example, see this, it just wants to get the maximum power out of the engine, so that's what it's doing. But if you shift back, right, to say eco mode, the car is a little conservative about going into power. So even if you go hard on the throttle, right, it just keeps you in that eco range, so that you get the maximum fuel economy out of the engine. And if you go to the normal mode, right, if you go to the normal mode, it's like the best of both worlds. To be honest, because I have the VRS, right, I never ever use this car in the sport mode, because I just don't feel like doing it. When I drive this car, when I go to work in this car, I basically want good fuel economy. I basically want the car to stay in EV mode so that it's quiet all the time. I don't want this car to be sporty. I want it to be the gentle, plush, nice, comfy car that it is when I'm driving the Camry. So if I want fun, then obviously I'll go take the VRS out for a spin. But if I'm in the Camry, I just want it to be this quiet, nice car that I can comfortably go to work and come back, or go on a long 1,000-kilometer trip and come back. So yeah, that's how the Camry is to drive, in my opinion. But if you can actually use the Camry as your only car, because it's good in the city, because it gives amazing fuel economy. It's absolutely a banger on the highways. It's really nice, it's fast, it's plush, it's comfy, and of course it's a Toyota, it never breaks down. So talking about the maintenance cost, when I bought this car for 59, I got the extended warranty and the service package for what, 2 years or something included in it. So I had a service at 1,000 kilometers. So the next one is due at 10,000. So it's to be serviced every 10,000 kilometers. So when I look at the Toyota app, right, it says the average cost for service is about 3,000 to 10,000, something under 10,000 rupees. So considering how luxurious and plush and how big and how powerful the car is, the maintenance costs are really low, and it being a Toyota, I think it'll run forever. I was in the GCC a couple of weeks back, and we saw a lot of Camrys on the road, and most of them were clocking about 3 lakh, 4 lakh kilometers on the odometer. And that's another thing that I wanted to mention. The Indian spec Camry is basically the top spec model of the Camry. So when you go around GCC or in Thailand, you see a lot of Camrys. But when you get into the Camry, you realize that it doesn't have this wooden finish, or it doesn't have the ventilated leather seats, or it doesn't have the soft touch dashboards and panels everywhere. It doesn't, the quality, the stitched leather steering, it doesn't have all of these plush features that make the Camry in India. So it's all basic. It's like sitting in a basic car when you look at the GCC spec Camrys. There might be these top spec ones, but generally it's all of those Camrys that you see running around are not the fully spec'd Indian version. It's got this, I don't know what they call it, the moon roof. I don't know what the difference between a moon roof and a sunroof is. It's a tiny ass sunroof there. It opens up, but I rarely use it. It's pretty hot in Kerala, or it's raining in Kerala, so I hardly use the sunroof. Yeah, so now we are back here. Let me just walk you around the car and finish the video off. So if you got any questions, you can let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer. I've become kind of like an ambassador for the Camry. So let me just park it right over here. Let me just turn the steering a little bit so you can see the alloys. Yeah. So let me just get out and show you the car. Okay, so I'm not turning off the engine, so I'll just get into the rear seats. That's where the party happens. So the door closes with a nice thud. It's not the Volkswagen level thud, but yeah, pretty good. It's got those stoppers as well. Yeah. So we get in the Camry, and this seat is set to my driving position. As you can see, there's a lot of space at the back, and the rear is as comfy or even more comfortable than the front, to be honest. Yeah, so at the rear you got this cup holder here and this touch screen. So this is not the normal touchscreen that you see, but you get 3-zone climate control in the Camry. So there's 1 zone, second, and this is the third. So you get to control your temperature, and it says the seats recline, right? But that's not much, you can sit upright. Okay, so this is, and then when you press this button, it goes back. Wait, you can't see it over here. Let me straight over here. So this is basically, you'll be sitting upright if you do this, and if you go here and press this, it starts going back. So I think it's about 30 degrees, but this is a really comfortable seating position. It's really nice at the back, and I've sat at the rear maybe once or twice in this car, but it was really comfy. Yeah, and the people who travel at the back in my car, they've told me that it is actually comfy. And then you get this switch where you control the seat. It can go all the way to the front, and if you are on this side of the rear, you get to stretch out even more. So that's about it in the rear. And then you get to control the audio modes, radio, Bluetooth or whatever. So you get to switch the channels, and then this is for the rear shade. I wish instead of the rear shades, you could electronically control this shade. This you have to do it manually. That would have been a better party trick. That's about it in the rear. It's nothing much to talk about, and you can obviously put this back here and get a third person seated here, but I don't think they'll be comfortable for long journeys, because this doesn't show all the way back in there. It just stays up a little bit like this. Yeah, but this is basically a 4-people comfy car, I'd say. 5 people for long journeys is a bit of a stretch. Okay, now let me get out. Now let me show you the outside of the car. Yeah, so I honestly didn't think the car was good looking when I first got it, or when I first went to check the car out in its showroom. But the Camry kind of grows on you. That's how the design is, I guess. Let me just put one next to that you get to see the actual dimensions. Yeah. So I've tinted out the windows with really dark glass. So it looks really nice in this color, man. I've seen white Camrys, I've seen silver ones, I've seen the mica red ones, but this color is called the on the Camry. It's really nice. When it's out in the sun, it gets a little sparkle, but you can't see that right now. It's kind of like a sparkly black, and this front portion, none of this is that the matte finish. It's all glossy. The grills and vents and all that, it's all glossy. You only get this matte finish at the back over here. The only portion where you get that matte finish. And let me show you the boot. Usually we open the boot over here. In the Camry, you open the boot from the side. This is the boot. Pretty nice. Nothing to complain. And there's through loading. You can push that portion down and shove long things in there. Yeah, boot is pretty nice. Let's do a bit. It's not electronic. You have to pull it down manually. Then lot of chrome everywhere. So the side is chrome on the hand, front, chrome everywhere, and as you all know, the hybrid gets the blue badge. Yeah, that's pretty much the Camry. Just ping me if you have any questions. It's not I don't do this professionally. It's just for the love of it. So if you got any questions about the Camry that I didn't mention in the video, please do let me know. Yeah, thank you so much for following the page, and yeah, have a good day.